Let's start by addressing the main obstacles beginners face when learning English. From your experience, what are the most common challenges?
Absolutely. Many beginners struggle with pronunciation and listening comprehension. Unlike some languages, English has irregular spellings and a variety of accents, which can make initial progress feel daunting.
That makes sense. I've also noticed that learners often fear making mistakes in conversation, which can hold them back. How do you recommend overcoming that initial anxiety?
A supportive environment is key. Language partners or apps that provide gentle correction can help. Mistakes should be seen as stepping stones, much like how children learn by trial and error.
Transitioning from challenges to solutions, let's discuss study materials. Should beginners start with textbooks, language apps, or something else?
A blended approach works best. Structured textbooks offer foundational grammar, while apps like Duolingo or Memrise gamify vocabulary practice. Combining the two keeps learning engaging and comprehensive.
Are there any pitfalls in relying solely on one resource, like mobile apps?
Certainly, apps can boost vocabulary but often lack context for real-life usage. Supplementing with graded readers or podcasts tailored for beginners provides practical exposure.
You mentioned vocabulary earlier. For absolute beginners, how many words should they aim to learn initially, and which ones matter most?
Research suggests about 801. 0 common words cover daily conversation needs. Focusing on high-frequency words like those in the Oxford 3000 list gives learners the biggest communicative bang for their buck.
How can beginners retain new words? Are flashcards still effective in this digital age?
Flashcards, especially with spaced repetition, remain highly effective. Digital platforms like Anki automate review schedules, helping learners remember words long-term.
Let's shift to speaking and listening, which you highlighted as tough areas. What practical strategies can beginners use to improve their pronunciation?
Listening to slow, clear audio such as the BBC Learning English series helps. Shadowing or repeating after native speakers also builds muscle memory for correct pronunciation.
Are there any tools that give real-time pronunciation feedback?
Yes, apps like Elsa Speak use AI to analyze and correct pronunciation instantly, which is a game changer for solo learners.
Now, let's talk about conversation practice. How can beginners find opportunities to use English in real situations, especially if they don't live in an English-speaking country?
Language exchange platforms like Tandem or HelloTalk connect learners worldwide for real-time chats. Even weekly video calls with a partner can make a measurable difference in fluency.
Do you recommend group lessons or one-on-one tutoring for faster progress?
It depends on the learner's goals. Group classes foster social skills, while one-on-one sessions allow for personalized correction and targeted feedback.
Listening comprehension can be intimidating. What types of audio content are best suited for absolute beginners?
Podcasts and YouTube channels designed for English learners, like English Class Zone 101, use slow speech and simple vocabulary. Children's shows also provide context-rich dialogue, making them effective learning tools.
How important is it to listen to native speakers versus other learners?
Both have benefits. Native speakers expose learners to natural rhythm and slang, while non-native speakers' mistakes can highlight common pitfalls and boost confidence.
Consistency is often cited as crucial, but how much time should beginners dedicate daily to English practice?
Studies show that short daily sessions 15 to 30 minutes are more effective than sporadic, longer ones. Consistency strengthens neural pathways, much like practicing a musical instrument.
Should learners set specific goals, like mastering a set number of words each week?
Absolutely. SMART goals specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound keep learners motivated and allow them to track progress over time.
Grammar can be overwhelming. What are the essential grammar points beginners should focus on first?
Start with basic sentence structure subject, verb, object plus present and past tenses. Overloading on rules can cause frustration. Mastering the basics enables meaningful conversation early on.
Are there any grammar learning tools you'd recommend?
Sites like EnglishGrammar.org or apps like Grammarly simplify explanations and offer interactive exercises, making grammar less intimidating.
Many recommend watching movies or listening to music. How can pop culture help beginners learn English effectively?
Movies and songs immerse learners in authentic language. Subtitled films, for example, reinforce listening skills and expand vocabulary, while catchy lyrics make repetitive learning enjoyable and memorable.
Should learners worry about picking up slang or informal expressions this way?
Some informal language is useful, but context matters. Beginners should balance pop culture with structured study to avoid confusion over slang or idioms.
Finally, motivation can wane over time. What are your top tips for keeping beginners engaged on their English learning journey?
Celebrate small wins like having a short conversation or watching a movie without subtitles. Journaling progress or joining online communities provides encouragement and accountability.
As we wrap up, any advice for learners who hit a plateau?
Plateaus are natural. Try switching methods like moving from apps to Conversation Practicer, set a fresh challenge, such as writing a diary entry each day to reignite progress.
Many adults wonder whether it's worth learning even basic English. Dr. Patel, could you clarify what constitutes basic English skills and why they're foundational?
Certainly. Basic English typically includes essential vocabulary, common verb tenses, and the ability to form simple sentences. Mastery at this level enables everyday interactions, such as asking for directions or making purchase essential for survival in English-speaking environments.
That sets the stage nicely. Moving from basic to intermediate, what changes in communication become possible for learners?
Transitioning to intermediate English allows individuals to discuss ideas, express opinions, and understand more complex instructions. Imagine a person who can now handle a job interview or navigate a doctor's appointment. It's a significant leap in autonomy.
Beyond practical communication, research points to cognitive advantages from learning a new language. Could you elaborate on how acquiring basic English impacts the brain?
Absolutely. Studies show language learners develop enhanced memory, better problem-solving skills, and improved multitasking. Even at the basic level, the brain forms new neural connections, much like strengthening muscles through exercise.
So, in a sense, learning English can be viewed as a mental workout with lasting effects.
Precisely. The benefits persist even if learners don't achieve full fluency. For example, elderly bilinguals demonstrate slower cognitive decline compared to monolingual peers, according to a 2021 study in neurology.
Let's shift focus to social integration. How does attaining basic or intermediate English help individuals participate more fully in their communities?
English proficiency opens doors to social groups, volunteering, and local events. Even basic skills allow newcomers to introduce themselves, ask questions, and form friendships, reducing isolation and fostering belonging.
Are there notable examples of this in multicultural cities?
Absolutely. In Toronto, community centers report that English classes double participation in group activities, showing a direct link between language and social connection.
Employment is a major concern for many learners. How does basic or intermediate English influence job prospects?
Even basic English can qualify someone for entry-level positions in hospitality, retail, or manufacturing. Intermediate skills expand options to administrative roles or customer service, where communication is key.
Are employers actively seeking candidates with growing language skills?
Indeed, surveys show 62% of U.S. employers value English proficiency over technical skills when hiring for frontline roles. Language learning is an investment in employability.
Education is another area where English proficiency matters. How does reaching the intermediate level change learning opportunities for adults?
With intermediate English, learners can enroll in vocational courses or community college classes. This access is transformative, allowing people to gain certifications, upskill, and pursue new careers.
Does this effect also extend to informal learning, such as online platforms?
Definitely. Platforms like Coursera or Khan Academy offer thousands of courses in English. Intermediate proficiency unlocks a world of self-directed education.
Speaking of access, healthcare is a critical service. How does English ability impact one's experience in medical settings?
Even basic English enables patients to describe symptoms, understand prescriptions, or follow emergency instructions. Intermediate skills further empower individuals to discuss options and advocate for their health.
Are there risks for those with limited proficiency?
Yes, unfortunately. A report from the CDC found that limited English speakers are twice as likely to misunderstand medication labels, leading to preventable health complications.
Let's talk about technology. How does learning English affect digital inclusion and the use of everyday tech?
Most global digital platforms from smartphones to banking apps use English as a default. Basic knowledge helps users navigate interfaces, while intermediate skills enable online banking, job hunting, or accessing government services.
Could you give an example of digital barriers faced by non-English speakers?
Certainly. A 2022 Pew study found 48% of immigrants struggle to fill out online forms due to language challenges, limiting their access to crucial resources.
Personal growth is often an overlooked outcome. How does progressing from basic to intermediate English affect self-esteem and confidence?
Successfully communicating in a new language is empowering. Learners report feeling seen and respected when they can express themselves, leading to increased confidence and willingness to take on new challenges.
Are there psychological effects documented in research?
Yes. A 2020 British Council survey found 76% of adult learners experienced higher self-confidence after reaching intermediate English, which often led to setting and achieving additional life goals.
Moving to a broader perspective, how does learning English expand cultural understanding and global awareness?
English is a gateway to global media, literature, and news. Even at an intermediate level, learners access diverse viewpoints, understand cultural nuances, and participate in international conversations.
Does this exposure change how learners see the world?
Absolutely. Many report a shift in worldview, increased empathy, and curiosity about other cultures' factors that enrich personal and professional relationships.
Finally, let's discuss long-term progression. If someone learns basic to intermediate English, what are the potential life outcomes over, say, a decade?
The trajectory can be transformative. Studies track higher income, greater mobility, and improved health among English learners. For instance, a UNESCO report found that migrants with intermediate English doubled their chances of economic independence within 5 years.
So, investing in English skills is a catalyst for lifelong advancement.
Exactly. It's not just about language, but unlocking opportunities and shaping a self-directed, fulfilling life.
Before striving for intermediate English, it's crucial to know your current level. Dr. Adams, how should learners assess where they stand?
Great starting point. Learners can use standardized tests like the CEFR or online quizzes. These assess grammar, vocabulary, reading, listening, and even speaking through video prompts, providing a well-rounded picture.
Are online assessments reliable enough, or should learners seek formal evaluation?
Online tools offer convenience, but formal evaluations from language institutes give more comprehensive feedback. Combining both approaches helps learners set realistic goals moving forward.
Once learners know their level, how important is it to set clear language goals before progressing to intermediate English?
It's essential. Vague goals like, I want to improve English, don't motivate sustained progress. Instead, setting specific targets like mastering 500 new words in 3 months or holding 5-minute conversations makes improvement measurable.
That's helpful. Can you give an example of a practical goal for a beginner aiming for intermediate skills?
Certainly. For instance, aiming to write a short email without translation tools by the end of a month is achievable and builds confidence as learners hit each milestone.
Vocabulary is often mentioned as a cornerstone for language learning. How should beginners approach expanding their English vocabulary before reaching intermediate level?
Instead of memorizing word lists, focus on high-frequency words used in daily conversation. For example, the Oxford 3000 list covers the most essential English words. Contextual learning like using new words in sentence cements understanding.
Are flashcards still effective in the digital age?
Absolutely. Tools like Anki or Quizlet use spaced repetition, reminding you of words just before you forget them. This method has been shown in studies to double retention rates compared to passive reading.
Moving on to grammar, what are the essential structures beginners must master before advancing?
Focus on present, past, and future simple tenses, basic question forms, and common prepositions. These form the backbone of everyday interactions, much like how knowing basic chords lets you play many songs on a guitar.
Some learners fear grammar rules are too complex. How can they simplify this process?
Break rules into bite-sized lessons. For example, practice one tense per week and use real-life examples. Mixing grammar with stories or personal experiences also makes it more engaging and memorable.
Let's discuss listening. How can beginners effectively develop listening skills to prepare for intermediate English?
Start with slow, clear materials like children's shows or beginner podcasts. Gradually expose yourself to real conversations, even with subtitles at first. This mirrors how infants learn by listening to simple speech before complex dialogues.
Is passive listening, like having English radio on in the background, beneficial?
It's better than nothing, but active listening where you focus and try to understand meaning yields faster progress. Studies show active engagement improves comprehension by up to 40% over passive exposure.
Pronunciation is often overlooked at early stages. What steps should beginners take to improve their accent and speaking confidence?
Imitating native speakers by shadowing repeating after recording helps with rhythm and intonation. Recording yourself and comparing to models highlights areas for improvement. Use apps or online tools that provide instant feedback on pronunciation.
Some learners feel embarrassed speaking aloud. How can they overcome this fear?
Start with private practice, then move to language exchanges or conversation clubs. Gradually increasing difficulty, much like strength training, builds both skill and confidence over time.
Reading seems daunting for beginners. What types of materials should they choose before progressing to intermediate texts?
Graded readers' books written specifically for different levels are ideal. They introduce new vocabulary and grammar gradually. For example, the Penguin Reader series offers stories adapted for each proficiency stage, making reading less intimidating.
How often should learners read to see real progress?
Even 15 minutes daily makes a difference. Regular reading builds familiarity with sentence patterns and vocabulary, which translates directly into better writing and speaking skills.
Consistency is key in language learning. What strategies can help beginners build daily English practice habits?
Integrate English into your routine label items at home, keep a daily journal, or set aside English time each day. Habit stacking, like listening to a podcast during breakfast, makes practice automatic and sustainable.
Are there any pitfalls to avoid when establishing a routine?
Don't set goals that are too ambitious at first. Burning out leads to giving up. Instead, start small, celebrate progress, and gradually increase intensity as your skills improve.
Feedback is vital for improvement. How should learners seek correction before reaching the intermediate level?
Join online forums or language exchange apps where native speakers offer corrections. Using tools like Grammarly for writing or speech recognition for pronunciation gives instant feedback, preventing fossilization of errors.
Is it better to focus on accuracy or fluency at this stage?
Both matter, but early correction of frequent mistakes lays a strong foundation. As confidence grows, shift focus to fluency, knowing your basics are solid.
Finally, motivation can fluctuate. What methods help beginners stay motivated and track their English progress?
Set short-term rewards, like watching a favorite show after finishing a lesson. Track progress with language diaries or apps that visualize milestones. Sharing achievements with friends or online communities creates accountability and encouragement.
If learners feel stuck, how can they reignite their enthusiasm?
Change up activities through new podcasts, games, or conversation partners. Sometimes a fresh approach or seeing tangible progress can reignite passion and keep you moving forward toward intermediate proficiency.